So what I want to do is have a discussion about the various realms within the world of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super, and clarify some misconceptions that may be going on in the fandom about what the difference is between a realm and a universe. So let's talk about it. Don't forget to punch that subscribe button and enable notifications so that you get every video that I upload right to your device, right when it goes up. And thank you for your continued support. Now, when talking about the different realms or the different dimensions within Dragon Ball, you have to remember that we're talking about the different dimensions within the actual universes, which I'm going to get to here in a moment. And we're talking about the dimensions and the realms that were actually used in the anime and in the manga. This is not including the Dragon Ball video games like Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Fusions. Those are different continuities altogether. So even though those continuities will borrow the realms from the manga and from the anime, you really don't want to think about those as being alternate realms or dimensions. It's just a different continuity altogether. But the problem is that in fiction, we usually refer to those things as alternate universes, but Dragon Ball Super, ever since Dragon Ball Super began, and even going back to Battle of Gods, the word universe has taken a life of its own. It has a different meaning, so you have to be very careful as to how you use the word universe, because now when you use the word universe in Dragon Ball, you could be referring to one of the 12 universes. So even though the alternate realms and dimensions and even timelines to some people in the pre-Dragon Ball Super era could have been called universes by the fans, now you have to be more careful and more conservative about how you use that word. But to simplify things, I think we should refer to these as realms or dimensions. Take your pick. You have to always remember that when Toriyama was originally writing Dragon Ball, he only thought about one universe. The idea of multiple universes was not even a thing until Battle of Gods. So when you look at the actual diagram of the universes, which by the way was drawn, I believe it was a rough drawing by Toriyama for the guidebooks, you can kind of see that a universe is sort of like a self-contained hodgepodge of various different realms, not just the 4 quadrants of the galaxies and the different planets and whatnot. You can call that the mortal universe or the world of the living. Then there are other realms. The big one that's constantly being brought up over and over again is, of course, heaven and hell. When you die, you go to the check-in station with King Yama, who judges you based on your acts in your lifetime. Now, it gets confusing because in the original Dragon Ball Japanese version, the heavenly realm is what they call Kami's Lookout. So if you say heavenly realm to a Dragon Ball fan, they're going to assume it's either that or the actual realm of heaven. So again, this can get very confusing. Just try to follow me. So in heaven, of course, you have the 4 planets of the 4 Kais, north, west, south, and east. And of course, we're talking about the Kaiosamas, not the Supreme Kais, the Kaioshins. And we have, of course, the Serpentine Road, otherwise known as Snake Way. Then we have, of course, the planet of the Dai Kaioshin, the Grand Kai. Even though we did not see the Grand Kai in the Dragon Ball manga, he does exist in the lore and has his own planet at the very top of the universe, I guess, or of heaven. Then you have, of course, hell, which is where the evil people go. Now, one of the big misconceptions is that people think that hell is the same thing as the demon realm, and that's not the case. But I don't blame you for getting confused. Obviously, when you look at Judeo-Christian religion, you know that the demon realm and hell could be the same thing because demons live in hell. I mean, that's kind of what we've all been conditioned to when you hear somebody talking about heaven and hell. But in the Dragon Ball world, that's not the case at all. The demon realm is a separate realm. And it gets kind of confusing because if you go back and read the Viz manga, they actually refer to it, the Supreme Kai does, as the demon universe. So when you look at the demon universe, say somebody wants to read the manga and they started with Dragon Ball Super, they're going to go back and look at that and think that one of the 12 universes is the demon universe, and that is not the case. It's just like with the Future Trunks and Cell and all the various timelines. The timelines are not alternate universes in the sense of the way the word universe is used in Dragon Ball Super. They are alternate timelines, and each one has the 12 universes and, of course, 12 Zenos, and that's why we even have 2 Zenos in the present in Dragon Ball Super. Now, existing directly outside of the main universe is the realm of the Supreme Kais, the Kaioshin realm, and that's where you have the Kaioshin planet, which is where the final battle of the manga and the anime against Kid Buu took place. On that planet, the realm of the Supreme Kais, it exists outside of the traditional universe. So Goku being able to teleport there is a much bigger feat than you could ever imagine. So the Supreme Kai planet is kind of like a moon which orbits around the spherical shape of the universe. Now, unfortunately, with Dragon Ball Super, as of the recording of this video, we have not explored the other universes yet, but presumably speaking, this same structure, this same architecture is used for all the 12 universes. So each one has their own Kaioshin planet that orbits around. Each one should have their own heaven and hell. There should be 12 different versions of King Yema. I cannot confirm that, but based on the way the lore has been telling us that there's, one angel, there's a god of destruction. Based on that kind of god hierarchy, it would make sense if they all followed a similar format. But of course, that begs the question. If there were 4 original Supreme Kais in Universe 7, do all the other universes also have 4 Supreme Kais? Did they just send one representative to the Tournament of Might? Or are those universes only having 1 Supreme Kai? That, of course, remains to be seen. We may never get an answer. Now, within the universe, there are also other realms that exist on Earth in the mortal universe, other dimensions. And the 2 that I want to speak of is the Room of Spirit and Time, which was called the Hyperbolic Time Chamber in the English dub, and the Pendulum Room, which was, as far as we know, only in the anime, not the manga. Both of these are at Kami's Lookout, and both of these are essentially alternate realms. When Goku and Gohan step into the Room of Spirit and Time in the Japanese version, Goku says, "Wow, it's as big as the Earth." In the dub, I believe he says something like, "Oh, it has no ending," but it does have an ending. So think about the Room of Spirit and Time as being an alternate dimension, the same size as planet Earth. Then again, Goku might be wrong on his calculations. Who really knows? But the point is that that is an example of a realm that exists in the mortal universe, sort of like a universe within a universe, a pocket universe, but you don't want to call it a universe because it confuses people. See what I'm saying? So realm and dimension works better. Same thing with Hit's time skip. We found out that he can actually create pocket universes to jump between timelines. That is pretty damn cool. Again, it's his exclusive realm. It's something that he can create. Then, of course, you have the aforementioned Demon Realm, which is a big part of the Dragon Ball video games right now because Demigra and the Makaioshin and Mira, Toa, and Dabura in the video games have a strong connection to it. In fact, in Dragon Ball Heroes, you actually see the Demon Realm. The closest we came to seeing the Demon Realm in the actual series was when Gohan fought Dabura and Babidi changed the world to resemble the Demon Realm. That's the closest that we came to seeing it. But what's interesting about the Demon Realm is that it's pretty much described as a dimension opposite of the known universe. So when you have the universe on its reverse side, sort of like a coin, is the Demon Realm. Some people believe that it's actually as big as the mortal world. We really don't know because there's not enough information on it, unfortunately, but maybe someday we'll get more information. Now, when talking about Dragon Ball Super, we can go ahead and re-examine some of the newer, dimensions and realms. And the first one that comes to mind is the plane of existence where the Omni King lives. We know there are 12 universes, and we know that the Omni King lives outside of the 12 universes in his house. And a lot of folks think that this is the 13th universe. There were also some pretty bad fan subs that came out when Super first started, where they talked about the 13 universes, but no, there's only 12. The Omni King lives in a separate realm. Same thing goes for the upcoming Tournament of Might arena. Presumably this arena is going to be in its own realm, its own void, according to what they said in the series, that exists outside of the 12 universes. So when future Zeno destroyed the entire future timeline, the entire future multiverse, which has been confirmed to have been wiped out by Zeno, Goku goes back to the future with the time machine to bring him back to the past, and we briefly see him there in a world that has no universe. It's just a world of darkness, a void. Could that be the same void being used in the Omniversal Tournament? I guess we'll find out very soon. Also, if you're a fan of the Dragon Ball video games, you know that they have their own separate realms and things like that. For example, the Crack of Time, where the Supreme Kai of Time sealed away the demon god Demigra, that's also a different realm, plus where the Supreme Kai of Time actually lives, the Time Nest. These only exist in the video games, but they're still realms outside of the universes. Then there's also anime-only stuff like the Furnace of 8 Divisions, which is the link between the other world and Earth. And of course, don't forget the realm of the Dead Zone, where Garlic Jr. trapped himself. In fact, the insides of Majin Buu's body could also be considered an alternate realm or alternate dimension. So I hope this video helped clarify what a realm or a dimension is when compared to a universe or a timeline. And there are so many more I didn't even get to cover, like the GT ones, for example. Maybe I'll get into those individually with their own videos, but I wanted to give kind of a broad stroke look at the different realms. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like button, subscribe, of course. I thank you so very much for watching, and check out these videos, which I think you'll like as well, where I explain more of the mystical lore that is Dragon Ball.